basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast.
NBA, some college, a little bit of everything.
You know, what can I say? But it wasn't going to happen here with him.
Hi, everybody. It's time for the Bob Ryan, Gary Tanguay Zoom and Pod. Happy Super Bowl to all those who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like us, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. All right, the well-traveled Bob Ryan back from South Dakota. He has seen a game in all 50 states, ladies and gentlemen. Mark it down. Bob, while you're away, the Celtics had one of the most frustrating games that I've seen in a long time. Now, your colleague, Mr. Jeff Goodman, of course, being Mr. Mature, is like, it's only one game. But, come on. They should have put him away in the first half. Talking about the Lakers.
All right. First of all, I was in Brookings, South Dakota in the morning. I found out that neither LeBron nor Anthony Davis were going to play. I was in the company of basketball people. The head coach, his assistant, and that's good people, good basketball people. And I observed, I don't like this game. Don't like this.
Yeah,
this is trouble. And they nodded their heads, and we all seem to agree. This is not a happy. The Celtics better show up. They better not get lazy. What happened was not unpredictable. It was sadly reality, and it's a common phenomenon in the history of the game that something like that will happen, and supposedly a beneficial team, the favored team, will get lazy. And I didn't see it, as you know. I was 1,500 miles away, or 2,000. But everything I read about it, they were outworked from the beginning. They came out lazy and stayed that way. And you know what? There's no excuse for that. I'm going to put the blame on the two All-Stars. Who did not have, and I know Brown's numbers were abysmal, and Tatum's weren't, worthy of All-Star status. Here's my take from not even seeing it, but they still need to take that final step. It's why I'm not conceding any championship, any Eastern Conference final, anything else. They are talented. Talent is a nice start, and you've got to have talent, but it's more to winning a championship at any time in any sport than just talent. And this group, and led by those two, have to prove that they know what it's all about. Now, it is one game. If they learn from it, I know they came out and they thrashed the Grizzlies with it, and the Grizzlies have been, they knew, everybody knew, they're hurt. They've been hurt all year. It's a sad thing because they came out of last year as one of those teams to keep your eye on, and immediately got injuries, and,
right.
and the Morant 25-game suspension. That got him off to a horrible start. And then Smart missed what? He's now missed a total of over 30 games already, So they took it out on them. Oh, good. Okay, that's a start. I'm disappointed in them. I'm not saying it's hopeless. I'm not saying it means categorically that they'll never win, but it shows they have another step to take, and put an effort out. And the effort wasn't there. Apparently, I wasn't there, but everybody.
No, the effort wasn't there at all.
100% universal.
So a couple questions here, because everything you said is correct. First, let's start. Is this a warning sign about this team's makeup? Because on the TNT broadcast, Shaq and Kenny and Charles let him have it. And they said the same thing you did. Is this a warning sign?
Yes. I say yes. If they put up a decent effort, look, Reeves went crazy. Reeves is better than people think. We have to acknowledge that. I didn't see it. Maybe he should have been guarded better. I have no idea. I know he's ever since the playoffs last year, he has elevated into being a damn good player. So, okay, fine. He had a big night, but come on. This was I won't say, disgraceful.
In 3 big games, Jaylen Brown has not shown up, including that one.
And how about that? It's the day. Is it not the same day he was named to the All-Star team?
The night before.
All right, yeah. So it's his first game following his.
Oh no! Wait a minute. That was Thursday night. No, it was the same day. It was the same day. It was the same day
following his borderline All-Star selection. We're going to talk about All-Stars before we leave, okay? And it was a borderline selection, and on the same night that Jalen Brunson, who the Knicks fans had hoped would be a starter, but I will talk about the incredible competition in guards in both conferences, frankly. He went out and got 40 that night.
Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown laid a brontosaurus egg in that game. And look, the truth of the matter is they're talented. They are yet to be proven trustworthy.
Yes, agreed.
Period.
Agreed. The other point I want to make is that we've made a lot about the Lakers' imbalance. The fact that you have, Anthony Davis and LeBron, and there's nobody else. But what this also underscores is if you're in the NBA, you're still a pretty damn good player. That's the thing that I get peeved at with people. They go, oh my God, the Lakers, they should have been. Well, yes, okay. The Lakers aren't deep, but they're professional basketball players.
They got a player who's very talented, has been controversial for various reasons, D'Angelo Russell. He can play the game. He can play, but it's a matter of how often and when and this and that. But he's a talented basketball player. Hachimura, who I thought was an excellent pickup for them, can shoot the basketball. He can play. He belongs in the NBA. He's a solid NBA player. He's going to be around for 10 years, 12 years. He will. He'll bounce around. He'll have a job. And he can shoot. And Reeves is obviously proving that he's going to have a lengthy career, okay? Unless he gets hurt, obviously. So, yeah, they have professionals. And,
if you don't play defense, and Bob, you didn't see the game.
No.
The Celtics did not play 1 ounce of defense. So if you don't play defense, you could score 40 points in the Hingham Men's League. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's right. If you don't play defense, guys that are in the league will kill you.
And then the other thing is the capriciousness of the three, and they didn't have a big night.
Right. And then the Lakers did, because
the
they didn't play defense. Wide open shots.
Right. Now I know people are going to want to point the finger as well at Joe. And I hesitate to do that in this case. They shouldn't need any motivation.
Right. They should
any
not.
extra.
Agreed.
They should look at the circumstances. Thank you, Lord, that we have to play. We're playing them without LeBron and AD. Let's go kick their ass. That's what they should have done, and they didn't do it. And they went out and kicked Memphis's ass. And I don't know what the connection is there. I would love to have seen them play a really good team after that and see what they would have done.
Right.
Maybe they would have risen to the occasion.
Agreed.
But that game, I know it was close, a 2-point something early in the second period, and then they blew them out by 40. All right,
let's play a little make believe. What happens if the Celtics face the Knicks in a 7-game series?
The Knicks are now a team to watch. I don't think they're a true contender, but they're now moving into the category of a potentially tough out. And we don't know how complete they will be by the playoffs because they lost Mitchell Robinson, and Isaiah Hartenstein has surprised the world by how good he can be. And he gives them big guy games. He gives them blocks. He gives them rebounds. He gives them authority. He's playing well. And who knew that was going to be the case? Okay. And I'm trying to think who, they got, okay. And
the operative word is they're tough.
Oh,
that's
Precious,
my point.
Precious, Precious has given him some good games lately. I happened to see him in a Memphis uniform at UConn a couple of years ago when he was a freshman. I said, "Oh, this kid's pretty good," and he's been off off everybody's radar. They picked him up in the trade with Toronto, and he's given them good service. Yeah, the Knicks are giving their fans something to cheer about. Yeah, finally.
So this is my point. Like when you look at
we know they have a quality coach,
right?
And they got guys that he likes. They got that Villanova. Oh, by the way, Dante DiVincenzo. Check out his numbers over the last 3 weeks or so. So they got the 3 Villanova guys, and they're well coached, period. And they're all, Yeah, the Knicks are they're in the mix now. That's good for them. And I think it's always good when the Knicks are good. The league benefits with it because what the Knicks do is they energize the league and they're a polarizing franchise. So people will come out to boo them or hate them, but they'll come out to see them.
My point is, based on the Celtics' recent history, losing to Miami a year ago, the New York Knicks losing to that game with the Lakers, you see a pattern. They're talented, but they're not tough. And the point is, you get into a dogfight with a tough team, these guys start to think and they start believing themselves. Now, I think the Celtics would beat the Knicks, but I tell you right now, it wouldn't be easy. And it's going 6. And the Celtics should beat them in 5. But if the Celtics face a tough team, it's going to take a toll. That's all. That's what I'm seeing.
I think we're in accord in that regard. But I certainly think the Knicks are worthy of respect now. And at the very least, worthy of respect. And I'm looking, and I'm good for their fans because they are loyal. Those people have spent a lot of wasted money in the last decade. Let me tell you, they really have.
Oh, I know.
It ain't cheap to go to the Garden. It ain't cheap to get a Coke or a beer. It ain't cheap to walk in the door. And they have had very little reward, but now they're getting one.
Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W. Not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today and you get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Boston to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Now, I will let you lament on the return of one Marcus Smart.
Well, I was a member of the fan club from day one, but I understood the trade, and I understood the need for and also the fact that they replaced them with essentially with Holiday. So fine, but I loved the stuff he did. I say there was stuff he did. There was nobody like him, really nobody. There were facsimiles, but there was nobody like him. I always go back to one play he made that will always be my memory of him in the Celtic uniform, in which he became the first person to intercept an alley-oop pass intended for a 7-foot Greek, which he did against Milwaukee one night. They threw an alley-oop to Giannis, which Marcus 6'5" Smart intercepted. One of my favorite plays I've ever seen in the NBA. He made unmakeable plays. He made plays that, right. Now, it was a plus minus. We all knew you had to take the good with the bad. He never conquered he never got it. Like, what's a good 3 and what's a bad 3,
He had 3 items.
And he could get hot. He could get hot once in a while. Oh, God, yeah. But, he was the master of the inopportune 3, flanking when you didn't need one. And it never stopped.
The master of the inopportune 3. That's a good one.
But I put up with it. Now I have to remember his brother in spirit, although he was better having been an and I once wrote a column comparing them because they're the same things that people liked about him and other people had a reason to dislike him. He was the Jackie Bradley Jr. of basketball.
Right.
And Jackie Bradley Jr. was the Marcus Smart of baseball. Jackie Bradley Jr. is the greatest defensive center fielder since in my lifetime in Boston, and my experience in Boston, which began in
Freddie Lynn.
Better than anyone you name. The better you name. He was the great. It's not even. I don't even. To me, it's no argument. He's the best defensive center fielder post Pearsall, who I never saw in the Celtic and Red Sox uniform. So, and at least not in Boston. I think I saw a Yankee game once in Yankee Stadium. So with him, anyway, the best. He was cheated out of Gold Gloves. I refuse to believe Kevin Kiermaier was that much better than him. Kept getting the gloves that Smart got 1. Okay, but the hitting was a mystery beyond comprehension because he had moments,
right,
including an ALCS MVP, including a 29-game hit streak one year. All right. Those two guys were brothers in spirit and how they played the game. Marcus Smart. So what the fans did and what the Celtics did was certainly exemplary, but it's been done. But what the fans did to react to it, to spontaneously, I thought was what I heard was wonderful. And the guy gave him 100% every night. We know that, and was active in the community, and they gave him the Heroes Among Us thing, which is wonderful. That was really, really a nice idea, and it was a sweet evening. And then as a nice sidebar to a 40-point win, So
it was a good night had by all. The Clippers, who did a job on the Celtics a while back, and we said, boy, these guys are starting to send a message. Before you know it, they have won 25 of 30 games.
It took a while for Harden to figure them out and them to figure him out, or whatever it was. And he was a detriment in the beginning. There's no doubt, in the very beginning. But and you know how I feel about Harden. He's not my favorite player. I like the kid. I think he's bribed every scorekeeper in the league, to give him 3 extra assists a night, because you see a box score that says 10 assists there. I don't remember any of them, But anyway, their big three are playing well. They have now, George and Kawhi, of course, they're playing very well. They're well coached. They're better in the middle of people think. I think Zubac's a pretty good player. I can't rule out a crazy run to the Western Conference Finals. I don't expect it, but I won't rule it out, because I'm not guaranteeing who is going to get there, including Denver. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it's right now you have to say, well, we keep talking about Minnesota, but as Charles Barkley pointed out, the Celtics did not put away the Lakers without their 2 big stars, but Minnesota beat Dallas by 40 without their 2 big stars in Dallas, all right, without Kyrie and
Doncic.
And Minnesota took care of business. That was Chuck's point, and he's right. So right now you have to say, you got to say Denver, you got to say the Clippers, you got to say Minnesota.
I think
it's Denver's thing.
The big X factor is Phoenix.
Yeah.
Beal went off for 40
right,
last week, as we speak.
Yeah.
Booker has, been tremendous. Durant's Durant, and but they don't have depth, but they have a tremendous big three, if in potentially, because they've been waiting for Beal. He showed him last night. He got 40 plus. I think they may be the X factor over there. I want to give Denver the respect that a defending champion deserves, and they still have Jokic and Murray and so, but the Clippers can be
they're in it, Bob. They're in it. They're there.
They're in it, and
they're in it. To me, they're not Denver.
No,
but boy,
so they're in it, and as I said, I just have such a problem with Harden, but I have to remind myself about the stuff that he has actually accomplished.
Well, that's what ticks me off about him, is that when he wants to play,
well, he's run himself out of multiple franchises.
Right.
He's not the most lovable person, personality in the league, but the man is an amazing talent, and he's going to go to Hall of Fame. There's no, how can you keep the guy out?
There's no doubt about it.
If I were on the committee, and the committee's floating committee, and who knows, maybe someday they'll put me back on a committee. I couldn't vote against him. I would do what I do at certain at certain polling places. I go like this while I'm writing, when I'm writing in the, I've been known to do that.
Okay, let's talk All-Star.
Okay. In any sport, at any time, in any year, there will be disputes. But there's one verb that I think should be stricken from the English language, and anyone who uses it should be, I don't know, punished. The verb is snub. And I know, and this has come up with Greta Gerwig and being
right,
snubbed from the directing thing, and this one may be a snub, but in basketball, it's tough choices.
It's a good roster. Both rosters are pretty good, man.
Choices. Both rosters are really impressive, and yet there were quality people left out, particularly in the West. I have tweeted, and I'm sticking by it, that somebody has got to be a mensch and say, oh, no, I'm not better than Sabonis. I don't belong here. That's what I would love in a better world. I nominated Paul George for that. And you not to Sabonis. This is how deep the West is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Paul George. George and their subs are Booker, Curry. Steph Curry's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
AD, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Karl Anthony Towns. Now, you can make an argument against him with the Sabonis as well. Sabonis leads the league in rebounding. He gives you 8 assists a game. He's averaging 19 a game, and he's triple-doubling routinely. He's got to be there somehow, I think. But I'm not going to call it a snub. It's an honest judgment. 2 other guys, his teammate, De'Aaron Fox, had a case, and Rudy Gobert over Towns. A lot of people think he should have been there, not Towns. And I'm not going to argue with that. Over in the East now, we were hoping that, and we talked about this guy. You know this. White never had a chance. As much as we love him,
he did.
As much as we love him and we respect him, and we're happy to have him, and he may get a ring. The competition was sexier. Period.
Right.
Period. I mean, Halliburton had to be on. Lillard is a star. He's a top 75 all time.
He's going to get the votes, of course.
Maxey, you know how I feel about Maxey. Brunson, now that's when people in New York are irate. Brunson didn't get to start. At least he's in the game.
Well,
yeah. If you want to say Brunson over Lillard, I'd go, yeah. But
that's not going to, that's
this year. No. And then that's the guards. And and Mitchell, well, whatever you want to call Mitchell, Now, there's going to be a couple of substitutions necessary in the East because Embiid can't play and Randall can't play. I think Porzingis should be the next man up and the big man, don't you?
Right. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen because that's
the other guy that people won't think about as an all-star, but he's chugging along. It would be a nice honor if they don't want to do Porzingis. Is Brook Lopez? I'm telling you,
it's a reach, but I hear you.
But Porzingis, I'm hoping that Porzingis gets to replace, one of them.
Well, I think so because you got 2 big men there. So
there's one guard. I know there's an outrage on some people's minds. The exceedingly talented but somewhat controversial Trae Young. He's not only
I'm not a fan, but it's hard to be objective and not put him in over White.
Oh yeah. So White never. So people here, I hope they never had a chance.
He didn't. But you know what, Bob? I'll say this: good for him for being in the discussion because we never thought that would be a topic.
When we got him, I had to look him up to see what they had done. I was barely. I'll be very honest. I was barely aware of his existence on this earth.
Right.
I had paid. The San Antonio had fallen off the map. And he's out. He's there, doing his thing. I don't remember him in college. At Colorado. No idea. And I didn't know anything about him. And so I learned everything about him since he's come here. And I love this guy. But so anyway. But I hate the verb snub, Gary. The verb snub, no.
Well, it doesn't apply now. I mean, Bob, that's one of the things that we've talked about is I don't think the league has ever been better. There's so much talent, and a lot of it is because of the international player.
There's extraordinary talent, and the three-point shooting, as much as I hate it, some nights you look at these numbers, you can't believe it. And more guys are expanding their range because of Curry. Curry taught the world, you can go 3 feet beyond New York. Trae Young has done it. Now a lot of guys are doing it. No, it's a very, very different game. And but there's a lot of very, very talented people. No question. And so
I think the game is at its peak. I really do.
I just hope that these guys are urged and that they decide, let's play a basketball game. Let's not just throw lobs and dunks and take 80% threes and let's play a basketball game. And let's see, just for the competition, just to be and for the honor. I want them I would love to see a good. I mean, that West team frightens me. LeBron, Luka, Durant, SGA, as we call them these days, and Jokic. Oh wow! And then off the bench, Booker, Curry coming off the bench, AD coming off the bench, Edwards, Kawhi, who when he plays, when he feels like playing well, is as good as anybody. That if they all want to play, we could be treated to a wonderful thing. But it hasn't been happening lately, and I hope that they don't go back and have one of those ridiculous 190 to 188 dunk
Well,
around.
I hope they play a little defense too, because after all, this is not the Pro Bowl. This is not a contact sport. And, you could still go out there. And I know players don't want to get hurt, and it's all about load management. But it would be nice.
One other thing, you have a good point to raise about who's coaching the East.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing with Doc, I was like, holy cow, Doc. Did you put that is that a bonus in his new deal? If he's the all-star coach, you get 75 grand, 100 grand extra. I mean, coaches 3 games and he gets dropped into the spot. Which is just so peculiar, because you think there and you think, the freak is a coach killer, I guess. I mean, AD was coaching the best team in the East and he gets whacked.
I absolutely. The whole rule is recent, not about repeat. That's why Joe Mazzulla is not coaching, because you can't repeat. And I don't know when I really missed that one. When it came in.
You mean you can't coach 2 years in a row?
In the old days, he'd be coaching. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't know about that rule.
That's the rule. Yeah, that's why he's not coaching. Then you think about he's got the best.
Bob, I didn't even consider it, because I'm like, whatever. I mean,
okay. That's why Joe's not coaching, because the rule is to have no repeat rule. Tommy used to coach back in the in the day,
right?
And the Celtic coaches could coach if they did good when they were fighting Philly for the record every year, and Bill Fitch or
boy, I'll tell you, the Adrian Griffin thing, getting whacked. The freak Giannis better deliver, because from what I understand, he cost somebody his job, and they bring in Doc, and I'm sorry, if you can't play for Doc Rivers, who can you play for?
Now, I don't know what happened in with the Clippers and Philly. I don't think anything in Philly. I don't know, because I have to recuse myself, because I love Doc, and I can't imagine that he would grade on people or be a problem for anybody or be anything other than a positive force. So I don't know, but I hate having to root against them. Now again, yet again, when it's the Clippers, I didn't care. Fine.
Right.
The guy goes to Philly. Oh no. And now he's at Milwaukee, and we know what they could be.
Well, I mean,
Giannis got 48 for him in his first night.
Well, that's a good sign. And so you have a players coach in Doc who comes in. He's got a ring, and he understands veterans, so he can work the personalities in together. Maybe he's the right fit for this team, because as well as I do, Bob, it all comes down to chemistry with the coach. Yep. It's not X's and O's. Can you come in? Can you get the stars to get along? Can you get them to buy in? Can you bring in the Mbutu?
Are they buying what you're selling? That's.
And Philadelphia is a tough spot. I mean, I don't know if anybody could have done that. And the Clippers, see, I like Doc too. So I'm a Doc apologist, because I saw what he did here. I mean, I remember in Los Angeles down 25 or whatever. And Doc is like, we're not done. They come back and they win. A lot of guys would have folded the tent and said, let's play another day. But I'm a Doc guy too. The Clippers thing was a mess. The owner, it was a disaster.
No.
So I'm a Doc guy,
me too. And I want to have a closing shout out to new friends I made in Brookings, South Dakota.
Tell us about it, Bob. Tell us about it.
Eric Henderson and his staff, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Well, God, folks, I had been to sporting events in my life and career combined in 49 states. And I thought, hey, I got to get the 50th and write something about it. I think that's a cool, accomplishment. And the 50th hanging out there for about 3 years. I think I got number 49 about 3 years ago, which was Mississippi. And that was South Dakota. And so I went, and there's 3 options you got in South Dakota, so I could see it. You got the 2 universities, South Dakota and South Dakota State, football and basketball. And you have a minor league independent team in Sioux City. You'll love this name, Garrett, the Sioux City Canaries. And and I would have loved that too. And maybe I'll go there someday. But my pick was the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State basketball. I wanted to see them take the floor. And I wanted to see them take the floor against a good rival for really, helping put a juice in the game. And their big rival is North Dakota State. And it goes back, it's historic, 100 years. And so last Thursday night, I was in Brookings, South Dakota at the Frost Arena for a terrific college basketball game. I mean, really, this is what college basketball loves to think about itself. It was a well-played game with two well-coached teams with a great atmosphere. Overtime game, the overtime created by a 25-foot plus 3-point shot by their best player, Zeke Mayo. And the game won with 0.3 seconds left in overtime on a tip-in by a North Dakota freshman named Noah Federson. So it was a terrific game. And I got a lot out of it, and I'm going to be able to write about that and many other things in an upcoming issue of the Boston Globe.
And that is why Bob Ryan is a sports fan. Games like that. No doubt about it. Robert, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you again next week. Happy Super Bowl to all those celebrating from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like us, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. Bob, talk to you next time.
Good, Garrett.